Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Jersey Nick Moto. And let me tell you about the week I had. Home ownership. Alright, so let me tell you what happened this week. So my house, it's not in a flood zone or anything, but it has a high water table. It's an older house. It's about 65 years old or so, and according to my neighbor, supposedly many years ago, before they built the houses there, that was either a marshland or there was a stream running through that neighborhood and they filled it in. So all of us around those few streets there, we all have high water tables, we all have sump pumps in our basements. Now what happens is the water in the ground once in a while will come up into the French drains. You know, I have the French drains cut out around the basement. They'll come into the drains and they'll trigger the sump pump. The sump pump will pump the water out. Now, even during like a dry stretch in the summer, that pump will probably go off about once a day. The drains will fill up with water and the pump will go off. Now, you get a rainy day like we had here last Thursday, and that pump's probably going off about twice every hour or so. But needless to say, you know, that as long as the pump's working, the basement stays dry and it's never has a damp smell or anything like that. As long as the pump's working, it's fine. But just as a precaution, you know, I have my furnace I have up on patio blocks, and the same with the hot water heater. And anything we have stored down there is we keep it up off the ground, and you know, anything important just in case the pump does fail, nothing gets damaged. This pump I put in about 7 years ago when I bought the house. My dad and I put it in, and it's been working fine. When I bought the house, they had like a smaller, cheaper pump, and the pit where the pump is wasn't deep enough, so we made it nice. We dug it deeper, got this nice pump. It's working fine for 7 years. Now with that said, you know, I'm not home a lot between work and road trips, and just, you know, I'm not the kind of guy that sticks around the house a lot. So my aunt is always there, and she takes care of my grandparents. And I've always told her, you know, I've always given her lessons like, if I'm not home and you go down in the basement and there's water, this is what you have to do. You know, if ever the pump stops working, get a bucket or a coffee can or whatever you can and go to that pit where the pump is, take the cover off, start bailing out some water, and bail it right into the slop sink that's right across the way, right across from the sump pump. And that'll eventually bring the water down in the drains, and it'll bring the water down in the basement. And then, you know, call me, and if I'm close, I'll come home, or, you know, we'll call a plumber or whatnot and get it fixed if I'm not around. And she's down in the basement all the time because that's where the washing machines are, and, you know, we have like paper towels down there and canned goods, you know, all like a pantry. So she's down there a couple times a day, so I know she would always catch it before the water got too high if something ever happened. And let me explain, my aunt, she's a very young 61 years old, and she's very handy around the house, and she's not like a feeble old woman that doesn't know what's going on, and she's usually, you know, she runs a tight ship and she's always on top of things, and she handles things very well. So I always had confidence that, you know, God forbid I'm away and the sump pump breaks or anything breaks, that she'll know what to do and know how to get help and won't panic. Well, that all changed Thursday morning when around 7:30 a.m. I'm in work, you know, doing my thing, unloading my rail car, and I feel my phone vibrate in my pocket that I got a text message. Now usually when I'm in work, if I get a text message, I just ignore it and I check it on my first break at 9:30. But on Thursday, something told me, you know, maybe you better look at your phone. So I checked the text message. It's a message from my aunt, and just by the way it's written, I could tell she's panicking. She says, I went down in the basement, there's water all over the place, there's water all over the place. The sump pump must have stopped working. And I could tell that, you know, she's up in arms about it. So I'm like, shit, man. So now, I'm not thinking, I start panicking. Because I'm in a rail car that's in a warehouse. And I have about 1 bar of cell service. I'm surprised I even got the text in that part of the building. So what do I decide to do? Instead of texting her back, I figure, all right, oh God, let me call her. So I call her. I can hear her, but she could barely hear me. And the conversation went kind of like this. How much water is in the basement? Now she could barely make out what I'm saying. How much water is in the basement? The sump pump must have stopped working. I'm like, okay, but how much water is down there? I don't know, maybe the pump clogged. So I'm like, all right, but is it getting high where it's going to hit the furnace or anything electrical? Yeah, I just went down there and there's water down there. It's like, oh God, this isn't working out. She doesn't know what the hell I'm saying because of the bad cell phone connection. So I said, all right, hang up. No, then I'm saying, oh, do I have to come home? And she's saying, I don't know, the pump might be clogged. I'm saying, yes, but is it that bad where I have to come home? How much water is in there? Yeah, I remember the last time it clogged, but now I think it's not working. It's like, oh God, we don't know what the hell each other is saying. So I hang up, and I text her about, you know, the stuff we went over about how to bail out the pit, how much water is down there, and whatnot. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for her to reply, I figured, all right, let me give my dad a call. Because maybe he's not working, maybe he could swing by there and just check out what's going on and give her a hand and figure out what's wrong. So I call him, no answer. So I leave him a message, say, you know, Cindy just called me, the basement's flooded, I think the sump pump stopped working, are you around? So then, about a half hour goes by, and she texts me back that, you know, she bailed some water out. The level of water in the basement went down. It wasn't much at all. It was just starting to come over the drains. But, you know, she saw that and she got nervous, so she told me, stay and work, and she'll keep it under control till I got home. So I said, all right, good. Because I was also, you know, trying to explain to her that I had that other little electric pump that you could just drop in the pit for the time being and run the garden hose into the sink and pump it out. But she was getting confused. I was trying to tell her it had to be submerged, but she's putting it in a puddle on the floor. So it was basically just chaos. And then in the meantime, I called my dad again, because he usually calls me back quick to leave another message, just in case he was around. He could stop there and just take a look at it before I got home. So now, after all this, as I hung up the phone, as frustrated as I was, all I could do was start laughing. Because I don't know if any of you guys are I Love Lucy fans, but there's that episode where Lucy's pregnant and she's about to go into labor, and they're all rehearsing, planning what they're going to do when the time comes. And Ethel is calling the doctor, she's going to call the doctor, Fred gets the suitcase, Ricky's going to get the cab, and it all goes smoothly until it actually happens, and it's chaos, and they're all running into each other. And that's what I thought about when this happened with the sump pump. So there's nothing I could do but laugh. It was the same exact thing. We had everything so well planned in case this ever happened, and when it happened, the shit hit the fan, and nobody knew what the hell they were doing. So needless to say, I got home at 2 o'clock. Basement was dry. She kept the level down. She did a great job. I pulled the pump out. You know, it obviously wasn't clogged. It was completely dead. It must have burnt out. Went over to Lowe's, got a new pump, hooked it up, dropped it back in. Problem solved. Crisis averted. Nothing got ruined in the basement. And then I, you know, go upstairs, get cleaned up, finally sit down to have dinner. And I figure, oh shit, you know, what the hell happened to my dad? I better, let me text him this time. So I text him and I say, hey, you know, disregard the voicemails I left you. Everything's cool, I fixed it. So about 2 minutes later, my phone starts ringing, and it's my dad. And I answer the phone, and he says, fixed what? What are you talking about? I said, didn't you get my voicemails that the basement was flooded and the sump pump broke and Cindy was panicking? And he's like, oh no, I saw you left a voicemail, but I thought you were just calling to say hi. My fucking family. Yeah, Dad, I was just calling to say hi every 3 hours. So, that was my day. I'm glad everything worked out. I can laugh about it now, but it was chaos for a while. And oh, and then actually the same day we got an old ceiling fan in the house, and the fan broke a while ago, but then the light blew out, so I spent yesterday putting up a new light fixture. So it was just one of those weeks where whatever could go wrong did go wrong. But it's over now. I got through it. I got to ride today, even if it was 32 degrees when I left my house. I said, no man, I had a rough week, I gotta ride. So how about you guys out there? You ever have a week where everything that could go wrong did go wrong? Let me know your story in the comments down below. Alright guys, so I just wanted to check in and tell you about my little chaotic week. As usual, thanks for watching. If you have not hit that subscribe button yet, please do it. I got a lot more videos to come. Hitting subscribe helps the channel out a lot, lets it grow. I will see all you guys in the next video. Keep your head on a swivel out there. Later.